Not dramatically, not through a single announcement or a legislative moment that everyone noticed simultaneously, but gradually, persistently, through the accumulation of platform policy changes, app store decisions, regulatory proposals, and the growing awareness that the messaging applications most people use every day exist entirely at the discretion of the companies that distribute them. Across developer communities, privacy advocacy networks, and the Linux ecosystem specifically, a conversation has been growing about what it means to depend on centralized communication infrastructure. Infrastructure controlled by companies whose priorities, whose legal obligations, and whose relationships with governments may not always align with the communication privacy their users expect. The response from a growing segment of technically capable users has been practical rather than rhetorical. Build the infrastructure yourself. Host your own communication server. Use protocols that do not require the approval of an app store or the continued operation of a corporation's cloud service to function. This is not a fringe movement. The tools that make it possible are mature, well documented, and increasingly accessible. The reasons that motivate it are grounded in verifiable trends about how digital platforms operate. And the Linux ecosystem, with its open source philosophy, its server infrastructure heritage, and its community of users who treat control over their own computing environment as a foundational value, sits at the center of this conversation. What follows is an examination of why this matters, what it actually involves, and what the future of private digital communication may look like. The word encryption appears in technology discussions so frequently that it has begun to lose the precise meaning that makes it important. Restoring that precision is the starting point for understanding why the communication privacy conversation is as consequential as it is. Encryption, in the context of digital communication, is a mathematical transformation that converts readable message content into an unreadable form that can only be reversed by someone who possesses the correct cryptographic key. End-to-end encryption is a specific implementation of this concept in which the cryptographic keys are held exclusively by the communicating parties, the sender and the recipient, rather than by the service provider that routes the messages between them. The practical implication is that even the company operating the messaging infrastructure cannot read the content of messages transmitted through a properly implemented end-to-end encrypted system. This distinction between encryption in transit, where the service provider can decrypt messages at their servers, and end-to-end encryption, where they cannot, is the difference between a communication system where privacy is protected against external attackers but not against the service provider itself, and a communication system where privacy is protected against both. Several widely used messaging applications implement end-to-end encryption by default. Signal is the most frequently cited example, with an open source protocol that has been independently audited and that is recognized by security researchers as technically sound. WhatsApp implements Signal's protocol for message content. iMessage provides end-to-end encryption within the Apple ecosystem. The existence of these options represents a meaningful improvement in communication privacy for ordinary users compared to the unencrypted alternatives that preceded them. But encryption of message content is not the complete picture of communication privacy. Metadata, information about communications that does not include their content, can reveal significant information even when message content is protected. Who you communicated with, when, how frequently, from what location, and for how long are all metadata elements that service providers typically have access to regardless of whether message content is end-to-end encrypted. This metadata can reveal communication patterns, relationships, and behavioral information that is valuable for both commercial and governmental purposes. Self-hosting, operating your own communication server rather than using a service provided by a third party, addresses the metadata concern in a way that using even a well-designed third-party encrypted service does not. When you operate your own server, you are the service provider. The metadata of your communications exists on infrastructure you control, rather than on infrastructure operated by a corporation with its own data retention policies, legal compliance obligations, and commercial incentives. The distinction between encryption and anonymity is equally important to establish clearly. Encrypted communication protects the content and potentially the metadata of your communications, but it does not inherently conceal your identity or your location. End-to-end encrypted messages still require network communication between devices with identifiable IP addresses. Anonymity, concealing who you are, requires additional layers beyond encryption, typically involving technologies like Tor or VPN services, and comes with its own technical complexity and performance trade-offs. Privacy advocates, investigative journalists, legal professionals, medical practitioners, corporate communications teams handling sensitive negotiations, and individuals in personal situations where communication privacy carries genuine stakes all have substantive reasons to care about the architecture of the tools they use. The significance of the encryption and self-hosting conversation is not confined to the technically sophisticated. It extends to anyone whose communications carry information they have legitimate reasons to protect. The App Store model that has defined software distribution on mobile platforms for the past 15 years represents a fundamental shift in the relationship between software developers and users, one whose implications for communication privacy are worth examining with precision. Before the smartphone era, software distribution on personal computers was relatively open. Developers could publish software, users could download and install it, and the operating system vendor's permission was not required for this transaction to occur. The arrival of Apple's App Store in 2008 and Google's Play Store established a different model, a centralized distribution channel through which applications must pass before they can be installed on the platform, with the platform operator retaining the authority to approve, modify requirements for, or remove applications from that channel. This centralization has genuine benefits that deserve acknowledgement. App Store review processes catch a meaningful volume of malicious software before it reaches users. Centralized distribution simplifies the installation experience for non-technical users. Platform security policies enforced through App Store requirements, code signing, privacy manifest requirements, API access restrictions. Establish a baseline of security and privacy behavior that individual developer self-publishing would not reliably maintain. The limitation that is relevant to this discussion is the policy authority that App Store control confers on platform operators. Apple and Google have each, at various points, removed or restricted applications based on their content, their functionality, or the political and legal pressure applied to the platform by governments or other actors. These decisions have involved applications related to communication, political organization, and privacy tools in various contexts globally. The pattern across these decisions is not that app stores are systematically hostile to privacy applications. They are not, but that the distribution of any application through an app store depends on the continued approval of the platform operator under policies that can change. Apple's App Store policies require applications that offer communication features to comply with various guidelines around content, encryption export compliance, and law enforcement access in certain jurisdictions. These requirements are documented and publicly available. They represent legitimate legal compliance obligations in some cases and policy choices in others. The relevant point for this discussion is that a communication application that exists entirely within this distribution model is subject to these policy requirements in ways that a self-hosted open-source communication system operating outside the App Store ecosystem is not. Google's Play Store operates under similar policy structures on Android, but Android's architecture provides an alternative distribution path that Apple's iOS does not: sideloading, the installation of applications from sources other than the Play Store. This capability, standard in the Linux and Windows computing environments and available on Android through explicit user enablement, means that communication tools can be distributed outside the Play Store framework on Android devices. The European Union's Digital Markets Act has introduced requirements that extend similar sideloading capabilities to iOS and European markets. The open-source Linux desktop environment and the server ecosystem that Linux dominates operates entirely outside the App Store model. Software on Linux is distributed through package managers, maintained by distributions, through direct source code compilation, and through community repositories, all without requiring the approval of a central platform authority. This architectural freedom is directly relevant to building and operating self-hosted communication infrastructure. The practical question of how to build self-hosted encrypted communication infrastructure is one where the technical landscape has matured considerably over the past decade, moving from the domain of advanced system administrators into territory that is accessible to users with moderate technical competence and the willingness to invest in learning the relevant tools. Matrix is the protocol that most directly addresses the self-hosted encrypted communication use case for a broad audience. Matrix is an open standard for real-time communication, developed by a nonprofit foundation, implemented by multiple independent developers, and deployed by organizations ranging from individual privacy advocates to government agencies, including the French government's public service communication infrastructure. Matrix defines a federated communication architecture in which independent servers, called home servers, communicate with each other using a defined protocol, allowing users on different home servers to communicate, while each user's data resides on the server they or their organization controls. The reference home server implementation for Matrix is Synapse, a Python-based server application with extensive documentation. Deploying a Synapse home server requires a Linux server, a virtual private server from any cloud provider, or physical hardware on a home network, with a public IP address or domain name, a PostgreSQL database, and a reverse proxy such as Nginx to handle TLS certificate termination and incoming connections. The installation process is documented through official Matrix documentation and community guides, and the technical barrier, while real is within reach for users comfortable with Linux system administration. Element is the most widely used Matrix client application, available for Linux desktop, Windows, macOS, Android, and iOS. The client connects to any Matrix home server, including self-hosted installations, providing a familiar messaging interface with end-to-end encryption enabled by default for private rooms and available for group conversations. The security architecture of a self-hosted Matrix installation is worth describing precisely. Messages in encrypted Matrix rooms are end-to-end encrypted between clients using the Megome encryption protocol, derived from the Signal protocol's double ratchet construction. The home server handles routing and storage of encrypted message content that it cannot decrypt. The server operator, who in a self-hosted installation is the user or organization, has access to message metadata and to the encrypted ciphertext of messages, but not to the plaintext content of end-to-end encrypted conversations.